turned out to be a beautiful day here in the Twin Cities. I'm Miss Shannon here with your Geek Show, along with my friends Jayden Satia, Rob Callahan.
Hello.
Our guest geek is here as well, Mr. Paul Pekarik. We will talk to him in a few minutes. Nikahotep is also in the room, but here's the problem with Nikahotep. So here in the Twin Cities, a beautiful day, although we were getting kind of chilly.
As expected.
But it could have been a terrible day, and here's what could have happened. It could have been a horrible, blizzardy,
No good,
snowy,
very bad day?
Yes, but it all went to Wisconsin instead. And so if you notice that they had over 3 inches of snow in Wisconsin, they're all buried, and that is thanks to our stupid social media demon, Nikahotep, and one of his winter spells. And so I caught him at the last minute, so we're able to, divert it. But you see how
such a hangover.
Yeah, exactly. See, and so that's what happens. So this is, if you have, I just want to give a little tip to anyone out there who has a social media demon. You have to watch them often. Don't let them off their leash. And then occasionally, when they're working on a spell, you have to constantly just run into the room and make sure that things are just, look at the map, see what's involved with the spell.
She hit me in the head.
Not hard. It was more like a when
little
you have
love tap.
No, it was with a rolled up newspaper. You know what you have to do?
Like with a cat?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Wrapped around an iron
Well, you know
thing
what
you fried into a fire. Oh,
But
God.
So he's in timeout?
yeah, he's in timeout, so he can pop in and out as we need him. Because I do give him this before he went awry with his little weather witchery. He did do a fine job of booking a good friend of ours, Paul Pekarik, and Paul, who is our guest geek today, and so we will
For the holidays.
Paul, he is a part of the reason why I don't normally let our guests pick their walk-up music, because he is a great friend. He is a dining expert. He knows all about etiquette, but he is very dramatic, and you will see why. So, Paul, welcome to the microphone.
Thank
welcome
you
to
so
your
much.
Geek Show.
Thank you.
Because I was like, Nick, hit up Paul, ask him what he liked as his walk-up music, and he said,
That's pretty fabulous.
Yeah.
Give me some 1812.
I do appreciate the fact I felt very fancy, as I was looking for the right version of the 1812 overture, and I got to find the one that had real cannons. Like
Real
you had to have
cannons.
the one that had real cannons involved, because I
the
didn't
only
want
way
you to
to
give
do
the
it.
fake cannons. Do they simulate the cannons with the drums, with the big giant drums? On
Yes,
occasion?
when
Okay.
it's not done right.
You can do it with a timpani.
Okay.
There are certain things you can
And I
do
was
to
like,
simulate
no.
cannon shot.
Paul is such a great guest geek, and I appreciate you coming to join us. So
That you found the
get
very best
real
recording
cannons.
of real cannons.
Exactly. I knew
Awesome.
we could not fit an actual real cannon in the studio, so I gave you the best that I could
I
find.
appreciate that.
And so before we get to, because we are going to cover a couple of things today, so before we get to them, we have a very special, interesting beverage for today. So we are tempering it with some Stella Artois that you brought that, right, Jayden?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are one of the good sponsors for the Twin Cities Film
They're-
Festival.
Oh, is that why we have that?
And I love the beer. And I love Stella Artois.
Yes.
Wait.
Stella!
Now that is delicious.
That
That
On a
smooth
Saturday.
Stella flavor.
So we are
You're
tempering
using
that.
your sexy voice for that. That's awesome.
He just went straight to sexy voice, right to jump this morning.
You don't have them in the glasses though.
We don't have the chalices here, no.
Chalices, see? There.
Yeah, come on, man. You're
I
the
got
etiquette.
corrected. I call it glasses. He calls it chalices. All right, there
Paul
we go.
not only came to visit, he brought blackmail photos.
Yeah, you did.
Today. He found some blackmail photos from Nikahotep and I from like 15 years ago.
Oh, at least. Yeah, it was
At least 15
97.
years ago.
Oh, dear.
I'm ageless.
Oh, is that what you're trying to call it?
Nikahotep, what are you, 23?
Absolutely.
2300.
2,500. Yeah,
Yes.
right, there we go.
So Nick offered to bring he facilitated our
This is fantastic.
our interesting beverage of the week. So tell everybody what you brought here.
So I thought of the most complex drink of the that we could probably bring in that would have process to it, because Paul's all about process. So,
Showmanship, I think, is the name.
yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
So we brought in absinthe.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul, do you want to talk about the process for absinthe?
Well, there's a few different ways
There's
to
like showmanship?
present it. Yes, it's showmanship. And so there's a couple ways to present absinthe, and one is to started the most traditional is to start with half a glass of absinthe. You put an absinthe strainer over it with a cube of sugar.
Okay.
Like brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Mm-hmm.
You could do CNH if you want to,
And he said that but you should not.
but you shouldn't.
Okay.
And then you drip over more absinthe just to moisten the cube.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drip water over the whole thing. And what it does is it creates an opaque liquid.
Yes.
And that's exactly what they drank in
Another
the day. Yes.
And I
so
do-
if you want to cut off your ear, Van Gogh, yes.
And
I
now
do
the-
appreciate the layers that it creates. It is a very pretty drink.
Yeah,
I like
it needs
that.
to sit. That you were talking about. As soon as we got it, you're like, I need to start this now because
Yeah.
it takes a while for it to
Sure.
come
And that's
into its own.
the end result of they call it the louche, the chemical reaction between the absinthe and the water.
Sure, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
The luge.
So the other thing that I do like about it is that people there. Nikahota was very excited because he found the bottle of absinthe that, in his opinion, actually had the wormwood included.
It says on the back
It
in
says, I don't
red.
care what it says on it. If I truly believed that Nikahotep had found a bottle of absinthe that actually had wormwood in it, I would not be drinking this right now. There is no way that I would start this whole potentially psychedelic experience in the middle of the day, sitting around this table while we're trying to do a podcast.
There is no better time to start it.
You don't know. I still do not trust this person like
Nick,
that.
where'd you
There's
get
no
the
way.
absinthe?
I actually got it at Certix.
Certix.
Yeah,
Certix.
you're not likely to find absinthe with wormwood on a shelf in a Minnesota liquor store, so you're probably safe, Shannon.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Paul, do you have a toast that you'd like to share? Is there something that you'd like to do, or would you like us to come up with something?
Oh, heavens. Oh,
That's a good toast.
bring it. Yes. Come up with something for me.
Okay, Nick, your turn.
And,
You brought it.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Oh, jeez. That was terrible. All right, that's
Do
fine.
one of your demon spells or something.
No, don't. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers with the
Salute.
absinthe. There we go.
This is our first show with glassware.
I love it.
Glassware.
Normally we'd be doing absinthe out of like a styrofoam cup. So,
That is good.
What is it?
see, and
Toast for 2 martinis. I love 2 martinis. 3 martinis, I'm under the table. 4 martinis, I'm under the host.
Nice. Okay, I will
you
try
go.
and remember that one.
right.
It's
Takes
another,
you 4.
It's another one of those beverages that has that licorice feel to it, like when we had the ouzo a little while ago.
Except not terrible like the ouzo was.
It actually tastes better with the second sip. So
Does it?
It
Yeah.
does.
I feel like
Second
that-
is better.
Can I get another sugar cube? I should have put like 5 of them in here.
I
feel
don't
like
think
I
you would have
enjoy
diluted
it.
too much, though.
No,
but
I feel like I would like it if I put a bunch of sugar in it. There we
If you
go.
put
I
enough
like
sugar
that
in this,
thing.
it tastes
not
just
a-
like ginger ale.
Right.
Exactly. That is what I am going for.
It's not a daiquiri.
It should be a daiquiri. Can you make absinthe daiquiris? That we will put that onto. We'll try that. When we have you,
Trademark copyright.
nice because
Look at the
Paul,
gleam in his eyes.
Paul could talk about a number of subjects. So when we have you on the show next, Mr. Pekarik, we can work on a specific absinthe-related daiquiri
Absinthe
thing.
daiquiri party
Yes.
at your geek
Yes,
show.
and so the thing that that we're going to talk about today, because as we are going into the holidays, we are right before Thanksgiving. We are going to do some dining etiquette and talk about food, and so that will bring us to what our guest geek story of the week is this week. And so I brought a story that I thought kind of ties into what we were talking about today. And there was recently a study that was performed by Cornell University. And this study suggests that men overeat to impress women. That's what it says in the study from Cornell University. So Cornell University looked at 105, as Nikahotep sticks another breakfast burrito in his face.
I didn't know a whole burrito fit in one bite.
And so
Skills.
they looked at 105 men and women and their eating habits. And they started at this. I love the scientific nature of this Cornell University study. And I almost went to college there, so I
Scientific
paid.
nature of any study.
Now listen to what they did. So they took their subjects to an all-you-can-eat pizza buffet, and they watched these subjects over 2 weeks.
Were they us guys all like poor? They had no like jobs.
I don't know. So people popping it out. And so it looks like over those 2 weeks, men scarfed down 1.5 more slices of pizza and nearly 2.5 more small bowls of salad when their lunch mate was a woman. Now, it sounds like, though, when women ate, they ate the same amount no matter the gender of their dining companion. So now with the, because what they're looking at is they're saying that probably, according to the Journal of Evolutionary Psychological Science, is that men end up overeating, according to this, in order to impress the women that they were with, which I feel like is kind of counterintuitive, but also makes sense.
Well, how much of that is conscious versus unconscious?
That's what I was thinking. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because we have a panel here of men, and I know you all eat. So I wanted to know what if it's one of those things like maybe you're nervous because of the
you
partner
want to know
in front of you.
if we personally eat more when we're out with a woman?
Yes, like has that
Depends.
like,
Is
now
she
this
paying?
Fair question. Let's say yes.
No, a scientific study did.
Well, then when I'm out with a scientific study, I will totally, especially pizza.
Yes. Okay.
I wonder if this is how dad bods come about.
Possibly.
You
that
spend,
would make sense.
you're having every meal with a woman all of a sudden. You're gonna eat more and more, and you've got a gut, and you're built like a keg.
From the female perspective, this is why I thought that maybe men eat more about women, is that we have a tendency to make you feel comfortable and comforted. So you feel
that is
more
not my
likely.
experience.
Well, I would think that you go, well, I already have this woman. This woman is already sitting down to dine with me. She's probably not going anywhere. I'll just chow down and go ahead. When women, we're more like, if he knows that I eat, he might leave. And so we're not going to eat more.
This has gone with the wind again.
Yes, and so we're not going to eat more. We pretend that we're dainty and we're not going to eat. But I can see that a guy going, whatever, she's here now. She's not.
Were these first dates?
No, they were not. Also, they were not. It does not list that they were all first dates. So
these are all like either couples or just friends or
yes.
That's too many variables. It's not a proper experiment.
I would agree.
Okay, so we can.
If somebody says, "I'm going to pay for your food," go for it.
These guys are scientists, and they couldn't properly use the scientific method.
I like that you brought that up, Paul. Maybe that's it.
They're just reduce and click. Is this on Huffington Post?
No, it's not Huffington Post at all. So
Mary
maybe,
Sue?
but I could not Mary Sue. But I could see. I think that Paul might have touched on something. Maybe that's it. Is that the guys were more likely to eat more because they knew that back to what Rob asked first. They knew the food was paid for, so the guys are like, I'm eating double. I'm here.
Time out. It's all you can eat buffet. So it doesn't.
Oh, so that took that out of there. So, but still, maybe they're like, hey, if I finish up now, they'll invite me back to the study again because they know I eat. When the women are like,
but if you heard the thing too, how long were these dates? Are there time for like an hour, or could you sit there? And if you're having a good conversation, you're going to end up eating more, right? Because you want to continue to stay in that conversation.
Unless it's a romantic date, in which case you want to eat less so you don't get all tired and bloated later.
Right.
Do you actually think that much into it?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
That's good to know. Okay.
I wouldn't know. I don't date.
You have dated on occasion. You're just.
Do they study like
I'm sorry,
if
I
the
blocked
guys
that
were
out.
drinking more with their buddies, that's why they ate less?
See, that's smart.
You know what,
How
this
much were
one-
they drinking when they were eating?
This only spoke about the food. This particular information I have on the study at this point, it doesn't talk about, and it's supposed to be a health study, so it, at this point doesn't have anything
it's
to do with
Livestrong.
it. No, it doesn't. So it doesn't include anything that discusses alcohol consumption of this. It only talks about the food that they consume.
This is a partial study.
Yes, so it is a partial study. It seems like so they didn't.
Who
go-
commissions these studies? I want somebody to
could.
like commission me, like to
Somebody
do a study.
got a doctorate off of that study.
I feel like you just have to hang out in like the
Universities,
university cafeteria and then see what's on the message board because that's where they usually put.
Wait a minute,
like
Nick, I hope
this.
that's what you do. You hang out in the hallways
for fun.
Yes, at universities.
And then he goes, "Hello, do you need extra credit?" And they go, "We do not need extra credit."
I will buy you food.
So my wife and I went out to a date last night.
How was your date?
and
Yes.
It was great. It was for a couple hours, and we just went to a sushi place. And
How much did you eat?
And that's what I'm going. Yeah, we shared.
Yes.
So we ate equal. So I had some of her food because she ordered some chicken stuff. I ordered sushi. So sushi came out first. We ate that, and then we shared. So it was equal.
Okay.
And then we went to another place and we grabbed a dessert.
Okay.
Which we also shared. So I'm curious as to how much of this was first dates versus couples versus. I think that I would get to know a little bit more about the study if I knew the variables behind it.
Because that does make a difference. Because I am willing to, if I'm on a first date, I'm not eating off your plate because that seems predatory and strange and weird.
By the way,
And I
how
wouldn't do that.
starved were these people?
Did they make them wait?
Does that make sense? Like, at what time of the day did they go? Do they go in the evenings versus the mornings versus the afternoons?
I will look more into this study because I didn't know that we would have so many follow-up questions. So now I want to know if they even looked into it more. If they just said, you know what, let's just see. Dudes pig out. Done. Study over.
It depends entirely on who you're with.
Maybe the
If
guy.
I'm just in a study with a stranger and I don't care, I'm not only eating all my food, I am taking stuff off their plate. I'll mop up their gravy and spaghetti sauce with my bread. You know.
Nice. See, I want to see the video to go along with this as well because that would make it interesting. I like that idea. And so, I mean,
it'd be interesting if it was the same. Let's just say you picked like the same guy, right? And he went out with a girl, and then he also went out with his buddies, and then at the same time of the day, different days, and see if he ate less with his buddies than he did with guys or with the girl. Now he could be eating less because he's having such a good conversation. That could also go the other way too.
So maybe the girl made him nervous, and so he's like, "Let me fill the void with food."
Possibly.
Shut up.
Or when you have like, there's
Coming
nothing
from
else
the
to talk
person
about.
whose
We're gonna
mic
go
we
get some
had to
food.
take.
Right.
When
you
she
put
won't-
stuff in your mouth,
Maybe it was a bad first date.
It was a horrible
Yeah.
first date. All they
You're
could do
like,
was
I'll
eat.
just eat. Yeah,
Maybe
I don't have to
maybe
talk
he
to you.
couldn't
At
Get
least
a
we
word in
could-
edgewise, and she wouldn't shut up, and all he could do was eat.
No, Nick, when she won't stop talking, that's when you lean in and kiss her. That way she has no choice. She has to stop talking.
Yes,
And
there you go.
you don't go out on dates?
I
That's
don't.
awesome.
I don't know why.
This is not the Valentine's
You should.
As Shannon is eating,
I'm eating because I made this mistake before where I didn't eat because I got worried and doing stuff, and that's how I ended up hammered.
Can we talk about the abomination called breakfast burritos that you brought today?
Well, you're not eating one. I was just trying to.
I already wolfed mine down.
Yeah, I was just
Why
trying to
would
switch
you-
up.
I'm chasing it with my absinthe.
You're not only ruining burritos, you're ruining eggs and bacon and sausage and
I
whatever
like
else you put
breakfast
in there.
burritos. I think they're fun.
That's a horrible idea.
Well, you didn't have to put the extra salsa on. I like breakfast burrito. That's one of my favorite breakfasts.
Salsa on your eggs. That's just weird.
Oh no, I think it's delicious. But you hate weird things as far as food goes. I don't know how you get through the
There's
holidays.
only one food I ate.
And you hate
Breakfast
it with such
burritos?
a loathing, but you are really picky about other foods as well. So you're that guy that's really picky about food, and that's fine.
Ladies, do not believe her.
It's
I'm
true.
an excellent
Okay,
first date. I
It's
eat a lot.
not. He
Is it
does
only?
not.
Is it only breakfast burritos? That's
No,
just
it's
enough-
not.
No,
There's
it's
a
what
long
is he-
list
I
of stuff.
enjoy many of the individual ingredients in a breakfast burrito, but all mixed together, it's like having a cheese and jelly sandwich. It's just
No, it's not. I like
You may as
it.
well
I
put
think
it all in
it's
the
fine.
blender since it's all going to
Jelly
mix at the
good.
end. So
No, and I
yeah, all goes to the same place anyway.
right,
As
we'll
a-
have a slushy. Of,
As the only representative of the Your Geek Show from the Southwest, I'm very accustomed to the breakfast burritos, and I think they're fantastic. I make them at home often, and I just stopped on the way to Taco John's because I think that they make better breakfast burritos than McDonald's, and brought them in.
Well,
And
that's
fine.
not saying much.
Oh, that's debatable.
oh,
McDonald's makes a
see,
good one.
okay,
No,
hold on.
McDonald's makes good McDonald's. McDonald's, none of their food are really they're McDonald's representations.
actual
Representations
food.
of actual food. And they are great, and I think
It
they
sounds
taste
like-
tasty.
This is a
Correct.
McDonald's
Yes.
brand egg.
Paul, do you
That's
eat
trademark
everything?
and copyright.
Do you eat everything like the most proper etiquette ever? Like
No.
Do you like? Do
No.
you do you incorporate that in the rest of your
Nick
life?
made the
No.
face like ding lying.
No. Okay, yeah, no, we sit in front of the TV on the couch, gorging on Chinese food. I mean, there's no etiquette. So
There's no etiquette for that?
No, trust me.
But
so
Paul-
I mean,
That
there's
is the etiquette
It's
for that.
well, no.
But since you know better, does it ever bother you? Because that's how I feel. Like
A little bit.
Because I used to be a personal trainer and work at a gym. So when I don't go to the gym and don't work out, I'm like, you know better. So when you're actually feet kicked up on an ottoman and you have like a tray on your lap and you're eating pizza rolls,
I have
does
like
it bother you?
four napkins across my chest so I don't get my shirt dirty.
But that's etiquette,
Exactly.
though.
Right.
Napkins.
I mean, I enjoy all forms. I enjoy eating pizza, whatever, sitting in the shoveling food from, plate that's sitting underneath your chin into the mouth.
I just put so much
Love
sugar
it.
in my absinthe. It's brown now.
different
Look at
color.
I'm like, why is
You
mine
just-
brown? Mine looks like the rest of them are like this lovely green color. Mine looks.
Why
like
has it got to be brown?
It looks like white. It always brown always wins.
It's true.
It looks like Jägermeister now.
It probably tastes like it too. No, but there's also, I mean, knowing etiquette it's like a dance. And so you know how to dance, you know how, if you want to have a formal dance, if you want to do it, it's a beautiful, elegant dance when you have a dinner party that is done well, set up well, everybody knows their place. It is glorious when you have, everybody knows the etiquette, everybody knows what to do. It's amazing.
So okay, here's the first question. So
Sure.
should you always dress for dinner?
Depends. So are we talking, so there are many different types of formal, I'm going to totally geek out here. There's many
That's
types
why
of
you're invited.
formal, I know. If you're doing a full formal, everybody dressed to the nines, sit down, place at the table, 12 courses, something, everything, whatever. You need to, there's an etiquette about that where you need to be, everybody has their place. It's a dance. Everybody, you don't talk about food.
Okay.
You don't say, oh, this is amazing, this is delicious. You talk to the person on your left, you talk to the person on your right.
You don't talk across the table?
Most often not.
Okay.
Sometimes there's conversation across the table. Most often not. You just have very polite conversation. There's many different, so if you're having a black tie, beautiful formal dinner, that's a dance.
Okay.
Like the White House when they have like these
Right.
formal
The state dinners.
state dinners.
And
right.
not just any dance. That's like a waltz.
It's a, yes.
That's right.
And it is very perfect. It is coordinated. You have to do, and there are very established roles for everyone.
Now, Paul, if
guest
we
and stuff.
aren't all as, if we don't all have a friend like you where we can go, hey, I have to go to this particular event. I would like some tips on how I should act or what I should do or what's the best way for me to respond. Are there do you have any suggestions on, hey, this YouTube channel or look at this Wikipedia page? Or is there certain things that are a good way for you to have a
Or your
starter
website.
course? Or your website? Like, or
I
can
wish,
they hire
I wish,
you?
I wish I did. Oh,
Okay.
Yes, you hire me. There aren't.
Miss Manners.
Watch.
That sounds stale and unfun.
One
Okay.
of the things that you can do if you watch the first 10 minutes of Age of Innocence.
Okay.
So
That
how
is
they
so
react.
funny to me. So so we go and with that's easy. You could YouTube that, just watch that first 10
Okay.
minutes and go, I will behave
They,
like
it's
that.
a delicate dance. You go in, you don't talk about the food, you don't say how impressive it is, you talk to the host, you meet, greet, you talk to the person to the left, to the right. Very lighthearted, no big topics.
No religion, no politics.
No.
Don't try and make jokes
no,
the
look
whole
what he
night.
wore.
Okay.
Downton Abbey, I hate to reference, but that
Proper?
is how you have dinner.
Okay.
Is you sit and
Okay.
you have very polite.
Very polite, top level conversation is
Correct.
what you're saying. Okay.
But that's a formal dinner. So
Okay.
that's that is state dinners. That's if the queen invites you over or something, whatever.
What if you
She
were
did.
going
I turned
to-
her down.
I know. Damn it.
Which
You
queen?
know, I hate when you call me queen.
I'm about to say, we know some fantastic queens. So let's say let's go more in the middle. Let's just say, okay, we are preparing for the holidays. We are going to meet some relatives that maybe we don't know. We don't want to put our foot in our mouth, or we don't want to be the one at the party
Right.
that everybody ends up talking about afterwards,
Sure.
going, I can't believe they did.
Right.
Right.
With Nick Hopetap, he's good at talking about that. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, reading down.
No. Actually, what I was going to say is we got a lot. It's Thanksgiving. Probably a lot of people are going to their significant other's house for the first time.
We are not right. So we're in the middle right now about talking about we're not at a formal dinner. We're not at a state dinner. We are dressed up, khakis, shirt, whatever, something. Be polite. And you want to make an effort to talk to each person. Introduce yourself.
Tell this to
Find-
Callahan. Tell this all to him.
Because he's going to. Aren't you going on a first date over Thanksgiving?
No, I am single.
That's why I said a first date.
Okay, a first date over Thanksgiving sounds the most
That
painful.
sounds terrible.
Yes. I'm sorry.
I can't stand Thanksgiving with people I know and tolerate.
Were we talking about poisoning before or something like that?
All right, so
How do you not have dinner with the people you don't like? Poison.
so middle of the ground.
Yeah.
Middle
Well,
ground.
I've found ways to get excluded from the
Is
future
it-
dinners. Trust me.
Well, and there's ways to do that too.
It's about first impressions, right?
Sure.
Or even second and third. So do you tend to? I've been taught you dress just a little bit nicer than what you think everybody else is going to do.
That
Not
is-
overly nice, but just so. Is that the way you also behave?
That is a perfect way of introducing yourself. I mean, especially to groups that you don't know. If you have, if you set yourself up with a handsome suit, something, whatever, dress a little bit better, put your best foot forward with it. I don't think you're going to have 23 spoons
But
that we were talking about
back
before.
to spoons. I thought it was so fun that you're like, no, you need the
23
proper spoon.
spoons.
We were talking about spoons before. So asking how many spoons would I have? I think if you counted them all up, I think it's about 23 different types. You're not going to be presented with 23 different spoons at a formal dinner.
I have a hard enough time when I have one knife and 2 forks and then a little spoon at the top for the dessert. That's enough for me. Okay. He's like amateur.
My question is this:
He's like, how do you even eat when you only have 2
6
forks and a spoon?
spoons.
Right.
if you don't know which fork you're using, is it considered bad form to look on YouTube for tutorials?
No, it's not. Go look on YouTube. So one
Can
of
we
the things
stay with the work from the? What I was taught was work from the outside,
outside in,
Okay.
yes. So a proper table, if it's set, you work from the outside in. There should be no question what fork or spoon or whatever to use. So a well done host will set the table to a way that it will be obvious.
And then the servers
There you go.
and the
So if
servers
it-
will take away after
Right.
certain course.
You
They will come
present-
around. They will
Let's-
take away what you don't need.
Okay.
Right.
So let's presume. So I like what you just said, Paul, because now if I make a mistake, it's the host's fault. That is
I am gonna
They
put
made
it
a
on. I'm
mistake.
gonna blame
Yeah.
the host.
They made it.
Right.
It made it
Absolutely.
complicated for me to understand what I'm supposed to do. Do not give me an octopus setting
Thank
of
you.
too many.
Yes.
Like, why do I need all that?
Yes.
I actually go one step better. I like it when they go, it's dessert, and they bring the utensil with whatever I'm supposed to eat. Here is a fork/spoon to go with this particular dish.
See,
And I'm
that's
like,
why we
With your
need-
bonus.
double
we need
fudge
more
brownie
foot-
sundae,
Yes.
sparklers in it.
You take this with it.
We need more footmen.
Yes.
And yes, in the modern age.
No, I think Paul makes a really good point because I think it is the host's responsibility
Yes.
to make the guests feel welcome
Yes.
in wherever they're hosting.
Yes.
And if they make it too complex, then it's their fault for having a bad party.
Well, in some ways, we are living in a different age. We are not living in the age of innocence.
Pause on what you just said. We are living in a different age. And now everyone who is now listening to your Geek Show, this particular episode, understands why we have Paul Bacaric here tonight. Because Nikahotep is the only one who lived in an age where all of this stuff super made sense. And he's like, I miss the olden days.
I missed 23 spoons!
And he has been pounding on me about how you have no idea what you're doing. Why do you have plastic cutlery? He used the word cutlery. I'm like, it's a plastic spoon.
Plastic and cutlery
Exactly.
are not that.
So he has been relentless at home about this whole stuff, and he's like, I'm bringing Paul in to fix all of this stuff. So now I'm gonna have all these spoons,
Lord.
and he's like, Paul and I were having a discussion about polishing silver the other day.
Paul, in your household, how often do you eat properly versus scarfing down Chinese on your couch?
Literally about twice a year we have formal.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
I'm not. We're not sitting there with
No,
with black
but
tie.
that's a good
Yeah.
question.
Where you
to
sit
ask, like,
across
how
from each other at a
often is-
long table and
Right.
don't engage in conversation.
Can you pass the salt? Right. And we have to wait because
Yes,
there's
by the
we
way-
don't have a footman.
By
Yeah.
the way, why in those movies do they sit at the opposite ends of the table? Is that
Very
more of a
formal.
okay?
It's what, Jaden, it's what you do.
It's
what you did.
It's what you do.
Okay,
proper.
polishing silver, pressing linens. Oh my god, which we were that sounds naughty. But there is some
After
awesome,
a glass of absinthe, everything sounds naughty, so don't worry.
Especially you, because you're unsugared too.
Oh yeah, I put
yes.
a lot of sugar in there. I was like, great.
God, she's like a gremlin.
I was going to go with the Beavis and Butthead route, but Gremlin I will take as well.
all
That's
right,
fine.
there you go.
Do you host often?
Usually once every 2 years.
Okay.
So my husband, he's like, oh God, this is a lot of work. And I try to take on most of it, but obviously some of it spills over to him, and it's setting up the table like 2 months ahead of time, polishing silver for 3 months.
So you would do this more often, but your husband vetoes it, is what you're saying.
Well, if we had a footman, again, if we had footmen, we had, with Downton Abbey.
Put a Craigslist ad out there. See what you get.
I think with that, but that would be the wrong. Polishing our silver, I don't think is exactly. Yeah.
Somebody will show up going, was that code? I think that was code.
I'll press your linen.
My polish is outside in the windowless van.
I love it. So it takes. A lot of that stuff takes a lot of physical effort to do it, to prep. It takes some hostmanship to make sure that your hosts or your guests feel at home. You have the right mix.
Well, because you'll start at what, like 3:00?
Depends. So there's a couple times where we have done like a full day. We've started with a high tea, which is typically an afternoon event. It doesn't usually couple with dinner.
Wait, what's included in the high tea? Because I only know the one that you get when you go to the Renaissance Festival. And so, what's the high tea?
High tea.
I got really excited.
Boa constrictor.
Well, there's less hookworm when you're not at the Renaissance Festival.
No tea, no shade. So a high tea.
All tea, all shade.
So a high tea typically is a late afternoon. It's a full luncheon, essentially. You have small finger sandwiches, usually in 3 courses, savory, a sweet, different types of teas, and that usually does not couple with dinner afterwards. Okay. We did it simply because, we've got it all, everybody together, everyone's dressed up. Why not throw it all together?
Dressed up. You had us change clothes.
Well, you had an afternoon tea, and so we had an hour and a half to change, and so we had cocktails while you changed. So imagine Downton Abbey, seriously. So everyone went up and changed into their finery, whatever. I'm off the shoulders for the ladies, ties for the men, and cocktails, and you start with a 12-course dinner.
And this is fantastic.
Start with a 12.
Exactly.
I know.
So, because Paul is our only friend that I know that has what we will consider these themed dinners. So he won't only do a high tea. What he also does is that he can, let's say that there is a very fantastic and fabulous dinner that is in some amazing book. And so he can. And
Devil in the White City.
Exactly. Which Coco, who was our most high guest ever, he was on here last week. So Joe Cocozello.
Coco Peru?
No.
Oh.
Not even close. Joe Cocozello. Oh. Much more high. Kind of smells like weed and dirty clothes. So
Love
it's
it.
really great.
Still smells like
I'd sniff that.
Talks like my crazy aunt from Brooklyn.
Exactly. Yeah. But he is a fan of the book, and so he would understand this particular theme. And so what you've done before is that you've taken into the fact that, we'll not only have a theme in this and all these things, but we'll recreate a dinner from something that might have been from great literature.
One of the things when you're trying to put together a large dinner like this, one of the best things to do is to have a theme for it. It helps direct what age, what period you are cooking, what everybody would dress. So we've done something. So Devil in the White City, love the book.
Okay.
So coming out as a movie, amazing. My husband was doing some work on a building that was Burnham, Sullivan. So we started getting into a lot of Burnham, Sullivan, that whole area, that whole time period. And so Devil in the White City.
Give us a little synopsis of it.
Devil in the White City is a historical novel. It actually bases on two things: the 1892-93 Chicago Exposition, the Columbian Exposition, and it also traces the first serial killer in America, Holmes.
Okay.
So every chapter, as young people were coming into the city, women especially, he would prey on them and do some pretty horrific things. So
that's what makes me hungry all the time, is hearing about terrible things and serial killers.
Actually, Holmes shows up in American Horror Story Hotel. So the character of Clawfingers, from last, he's essentially the Holmes.
And I'm trying really hard to watch American Horror Story right now because I met one of the guys who's one of the actors that's in it. So I'm like, please, I'm trying.
Oh my God, who? Matt Bomer?
No,
Finn. We met Finn.
Yeah, don't get too
Isn't he adorable? Oh no!
Shut up.
He's what?
Nick just told me don't get too attached.
I really.
Oh no,
Why?
he is gorgeous.
Yes,
He
we
really
met
is.
Finn Whitrock last. I know. We were very excited. I was very excited.
I'm going to choke on my own tongue right now. Okay, good lord.
And gracious. A
Very gracious.
He was
charming,
here?
very charming.
How do you all met it? What?
because
Was I on the wrong week?
No, not in the studio.
he wasn't
Oh,
here. No,
all right.
he was at the Comic-Con convention last year.
The Wizard
Yes.
World.
The
Okay.
Wizard World. He was
All
at
right.
Wizard World Comic Con, and I was fortunate enough to host the panel that he was on, and so we got a chance.
What
to
brought him there?
Because they were because
paycheck.
Yeah, very true. But because he's from American Horror Story, and that's one of the things that
got it,
shows
got it,
they
got it,
focus
got
on.
it.
So he came through, and he actually did have a brief moment to talk about some non-geek type movies that he's in as well. Because he's in a new football movie, which actually looks like it's going to go very, very well for him.
Sports ball?
No, so football, but I think we're gonna have to skip a lot of the fantasy football conversation that we have normally.
Oh,
because
I'm
I know
so
Paul won't
broken up.
care, so we'll skim through that.
Sports
very quickly.
ball,
Paul,
something. Yes.
Come back.
By
every
the way, I have a
week.
question for you.
Sure.
What of your knowledge from formal etiquette could you tell our listeners to bring into their normal, like, eating?
I'm sorry, we're all giggling.
I know. Why are you
The
giggling?
absinthe has clearly kicked in.
I'm so
I can
serious
feel
right
it in
now.
my
We're
head.
hallucinating at this
I
point.
can feel in my head that there is like clearly a fog. And Jayden, I've known you for how many years?
Decade.
That was the most incoherent sentence that
Shut
was supposed
up.
But
to be.
I understood.
You got it.
I got it. I know exactly what
I-
you're saying.
I swear to God, I chugged my absinthe right before I asked the question. So
that's okay.
That's awesome.
Usually it's Nick that takes it as a shot.
I know. I had to say, it's not my favorite. I'm going to tell you.
Mine either.
Not my. But anyways, you got.
I'd like
what
a
could we
second
bring
one.
in?
Well, so like one of the things when you're working with one of these huge dinners or something like that, there is a like I said, it's a waltz, it's a dance, or you were saying it's a waltz. It's a dance. It's you know your place, you know how to dress, how to act, what to talk about. In real life, how do you parlay that into meeting with everybody else and whatever and something? One of the best things is to find commonalities in conversation. And so you've seen some of the hosts who say, so, Nick-Hotep, I know you're 3,500 years old, so meet my great aunt who's 3,498 years old. So
Well
there's certain
played.
things to...
You remember
know,
some of the same things.
Okay.
I know, right. So trying to find commonalities, having those conversations, making people feel...
So host brings other people in the group together.
Yes. Yes.
So it's the host's job to sort of have these mental note cards about everyone. And
Yes.
introduce some facts.
okay.
And
about-
as a
yes.
guest, you want to do the same thing.
So if
You want to, if you know some of the people who are there and you don't know someone else, introduce yourself, find a commonality, find something. Oh, say, there's something that common here that I would want to introduce you to talk to someone else. Whatever. Oh, okay.
And so I do like the fact that it is the host's position to try and make sure that there are these icebreakers and to break down
There
the
should-
barriers for them.
A
So
good
that is
host.
fun. Yes.
A good host should do that. A good host should introduce someone comes in when you get into a party or something like that. Go up to your host, introduce yourself, remind them if that. I mean, obviously, okay. So we're talking huge parties here or something like that. If you're going in, it's a great Aunt Jane's or something like that, she's
Right.
going to remember who you are.
Not
But if there's
necessarily.
no, I know. It depends on how many she's had before while she's brining the turkey.
How much silver she's had? Paul?
Right, exactly.
polished.
Oh,
What
dear
does your great
Lord.
aunt do in her spare time?
What is
My
she
goodness.
sniffing that polish for?
And it's an opportunity to set outside of yourself and to step out. Some of us in our own world of comfort levels, step out of it for a second to introduce people to find those commonalities. So you
You're
have
a
those
social
conversations.
butterfly. When you're the host, everybody wants to talk to you, right? They want
Yes.
to thank you, but you have to give them the appropriate amount of time, each individual. But then you have to realize you have to move on because there's other 15 people who also want to thank you or
One of
And
the
you've
great
got to make sure everyone's having a good time.
Right.
Right.
One of the great things for a host, though, too, is to, in addition to making everyone feel comfortable, you also want to create those interlaced conversations. So you want to introduce you instead of saying, "Hey, great to see you, nice to see you." I want to introduce you to somebody. So you can introduce these conversations.
So you're a good catalyst, is what it is. So
exactly.
Exactly. So you would look, I noticed this one thing about you, and you would go, hey, Jaden, come along with me. Here's something you could talk about with Rob Callahan. And then you could facilitate that between the two of them.
Correct.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then we would spend the rest of the night bonding.
And then you start the two of them, and then you can flitter away to go and start it on with another group.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Now, do you come back and check later on to make sure they're still bonding? And if not, do you find them other people with whom to bond?
A good host would do that.
Okay.
A good host will keep an eye out. And usually the guests are on their own.
Okay.
So if you want to be a wallflower, that's not necessarily
Ideally,
the
you're
host's
picking up on
responsibility.
cues, right? You're picking on everybody's cues at the same time.
You want to try
You're like, you want to be alone tonight. I get it. You just want to have a brandy in the side room with a cigar. Fine.
and that's all right.
But I'm going to bring you somebody who also wants to have a brandy in the side room with a cigar.
So they'll sit in opposite corners and
which
this,
is
have their
fine.
kind
Maybe
of-
that's what they want.
Or they can have a conversation over how
Around-
they only wanted to have a brandy and a cigar in the side.
Oh, and then the
and they
topic
don't
of,
like to polish silver.
and
You just got on top of Shannon.
Nick Hotep, what are you? Are you making?
How dare
Are you
you
making
make my
demon?
mouth-
You're making demon babies.
Oh
Stop
my
it.
God. Corner of my eye, I'm like, why are you on top of Shannon?
It's the wormwood, actually. No, I was gonna say a good host is a conductor,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
they've got to be able to make sure that everyone knows their part and is and that it's flowing really, really well.
It's a conductor and everyone's improvising, and the conductor has to keep them improvising. the proper
Dancing.
way.
And see,
There's
and
a
I
dance,
was
too.
actually taking it a little darker than that. I like the fact that it's more of a social experiment if you're the host. Like, you can sit there and actually, you are the one that is going, I'm going to start this particular experiment in this corner and then see how that works for a while. Is that a good reaction or a bad reaction? And then I'll take it on to the next reaction.
But you're not just doing it to see what happens. You're doing it because you want a specific reaction. If you're not getting it, you mix things
But
up a
we
different
have
way.
Yes, and we have
Nice.
some terrible friends that would do it just because they like pushing people around.
Well, that's how I
Nick
would do
Hotep,
it.
what?
But I'm a sociopath. So
But I would do it because I want everybody to have a good time, and I understand that. And
But
that
if you
part I
know
think
a
is
certain
great.
individual is going to need at least a couple of drinks for them to get comfortable enough, you're going to let them. You're not going to introduce them to right away to anybody, right?
Right.
You're just going to have them
Again, it's-
settle in and then appropriately bring the.
And I think
And
that it's also a matter of
It's a
what you bring
chess
out.
match
You
basically the whole time.
I have
and
a
you
question
have to
for
have
our
the right
host.
players also.
I have an important question for our host, and this leads into it. Is
Yeah.
when you're putting together the guest list, do you go over the personality traits and the qualities of each guest and say, how can I bring this person in, and how will they mix with the other people I've got on the list?
Yes.
It's alchemy,
Yes.
social alchemy.
Yes.
That's what took some 3 years to put together one.
I know. It
It's
takes
not
2
just
years.
polishing. There's lots of other.
This explains why I never get invited to
Our
dinner
social-
parties.
because you're like, oh my god, it is very difficult.
Callahan
to put
doesn't
this
mix with
particular
anyone.
thing.
Oil and water. So our social circle is not that large that we're going to be, hundreds of people that we're pulling out of.
Right.
With the people that we want to spend time with.
And then
we
do you
know-
also bring in anybody new?
Yes.
Into your circles,
Yes.
just so it is not as refreshing. At
Yes.
least
Every time we've done it, we have.
I
There we
think
go.
we should try this. I can get us a venue that would be enough room. Like
It's fun.
is 20
I only
people
have
too
silver.
much?
I only have silver setting for 25 people.
Okay, I could do
24
that.
people,
I could do
okay.
that. I could get us a room, and then
right.
we could do that.
You have
How many
silverware for 25
yes,
people.
and he said only. You notice he said only.
And how many
Okay.
silverware per person? So that's how many thousands of whatever you got.
Do we use
Okay.
all 23 spoons?
Okay, hold on. Hold
I
on.
want to use all of them.
Jayden, ask him how many furs he has.
Okay, stop. We'll go to the furs later. We're talking about. Yeah, no, we'll get there later.
Coming from the
And
man
then-
that brought blackmail pictures, he's like, we'll go to something later. How many furs do you have?
40, 50. Something
I have
like it.
one
40,
faux.
50.
Not even a real fur, a
Oh.
faux.
Is furs a
honey.
euphemism for something?
No.
Okay.
He really just
I'm
has
a gay
that
man. Why do I want fur? Come on, really?
Could be into bears.
See, I don't know. It's the back hair.
He's like, not anymore, I'm married.
I know.
All this conversation brought to you by Absinthe.
So, formal dinners are fantastic in a way that you can present, you can have that dance for once every 2 years. You can have this, and it might be,
exhausted. You're exhausted.
it is seriously 2 weeks of preparation. We also, so for Kate and, Weighty Katie. Yes.
That's so mean.
Because I was about to say, I'm like, do you call me weighty anything when I'm not around?
No!
Oh my goodness.
No, we
Kate
totally
Middleton.
don't. Not ever.
Kate
no.
Middleton.
Okay, Kate Middleton.
yes,
Did
Kate
you just
Middleton.
see my fan came out? I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to fan myself.
I went, no,
Okay,
so we
Middleton.
had what 6 people over or something like that. We watched it. Everyone had their own tea set.
Okay.
As we were, yes. So there's different. It's a celebration. It's a opportunity to step outside of our regular day to day
Okay,
of
let's-
shoveling Chinese food into our mouths in front of the television.
What would
set.
be an appropriate dinner party for your geek show? So, so we can't do it for the Star Wars. So we're starting. I have an idea.
Doctor
I have an
Who.
idea. I have an idea. Doctor Who would work. The Doctor Who Christmas special. We could.
Oh well, there's plum pudding in there.
So we could do the Doctor Who Christmas. We could do a.
I have
themed
enough
dinner.
cravats for everyone who needs them.
What do you think? See, what do you think, Paul? Can we
I
do a
love that.
Doctor Who Christmas special? Okay.
Waistcoats
I'll find
and
us a
pocket watches,
I'll
I've
find
got
us a
those too.
venue.
My heart is fluttering right now.
So a venue for.
I'm good.
Do you have? I'm not going to volunteer your house, Paul. So we can find
Volunteer away.
because that would be fun. We could do that if we did the podcast as a dinner, a Doctor Who dinner. Oh my God, I think that'd be fantastic.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure-
I'm lolling back into the head. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure none of us would conform to the rules of the dinner party.
No, we would. That would be part of it. Is that we'll try. But
Well,
then
and
once
he's
there's-
going to keep tabs, right?
Yes.
You're going to give us a score at the end of it, like out
Did
of.
you act appropriately? Did you act,
I didn't know
act
this was a
appropriately?
competition.
It's
This is like
always
the,
a
this is like the
competition.
British.
It's always-
It's like the
Always
British
a
baking show or
competition.
something.
Yes,
All it's going to take is for one.
That's a good bake.
The person on my right will turn to me and say, "So I understand you like Doctor Who," and it's over for me at that point. I'm like, "Well, do you mean classic series or new series? And which Doctor do you want?" Because really, the second Doctor was the best. Although the 11th was a lot like the
Second.
second.
Fourth. Don't even. We're
Always
not
the
going
fourth.
there.
Oh, he was
See,
just he
now
was
we're
just
already
channeling
fighting.
Troughton anyway.
Oh my God, we're not. Oh my God, it's
He
a
was
totally
not.
different show.
Troughton was just, London Broadway on the show.
He really was.
Oh my God. And we
I
haven't
like
even.
the fact that he was about to argue. He's like,
Oh my
fair
giddy
enough,
aunt, you're
right?
correct.
And he's like, fair enough. All
Do you
right.
have to bring in the accents too?
Good Lord. Okay, we're talking
Just
about Doctor
call me-
Who, and
just
we haven't
call me
even talked.
Missy.
What's that?
Just call me Missy.
Nancy.
Oh, no.
I will.
Nancy.
We haven't even talked about polishing silver, pressing linens.
Yes.
Let's polish some silver. What's up with polishing silver?
Because that was the thing is that, because Paul is a geek about a wealth of topics, but one of the things that he does do as what we will just consider hobby is sit around and just polish his silver because he's one of the few people that still has silver. And so he'll just sit around.
And that is not a euphemism.
No, he really just still has silver and knows how to polish it appropriately and finds it very fascinating.
Clockwise,
I-
counterclockwise.
Most
It's
of
like
us,
me.
most of us sold
Polish
it off
on,
during the
polish
2008.
It's me sitting in my house sharpening my sword.
Well, there's
for no reason.
there's
It's
hobbies,
him.
right? Well, there's knitting, there's reading, there's
I make
video gaming,
Somebody makes
there's polishing
paper,
silver.
He polishes silver.
My grandmother, bless her heart, we would go and
He wants another, I think.
Okay.
We'll set up
Nick-
another.
Whole
We'll
Jeff
set
will
up
figure out
another.
how to
Yes.
do it. Yeah.
This is the first time I
Does
think
Nick
that
know how to
Rob-
do this?
He,
Yeah, well, he
well,
watched.
he
He can do it.
watched.
Yeah.
He's watched it for 2,500 years. He should know how to do it.
Okay, you're talking
We're
about
mixing
your-
more absinthe
Talking
right
about your
now.
grandma.
So she, bless her heart, I think she understood that I was a little on the fancy side as I was
Yes.
growing up. And so I would go over and say, Grandma, let's polish silver. And so we'd pull out our silver and we would polish it.
Oh, that's so charming.
And we'd make bread, we'd make, oh, Lord, it was just fun. It was super fun. And I enjoyed it because it was relaxing. It
So-
was something where you could see something that was tarnished and dull, a little bit of work, and it was gorgeous.
Was it also very cathartic for you? Just
Yes.
that kind of, okay, I understand.
So
that.
I will bring out the silver every once a year or something, once every 3 years or something, and I'll polish it for a week. And it is a cathartic, exactly. It's a cathartic, it's like knitting, it's
Yes.
meditation,
It's
and
much more than the actual physical
right.
yes.
act of it.
And
Yes.
so when you're into a certain thing, I understand that. I
Yeah.
do puzzles. Like I put together puzzles at home, and people think that that's so boring. But for me, it's soothing. It's cathartic. I like the way that it gives me time to sit down and just
Right.
focus on this one thing. So I
Right.
understand how you would enjoy something like that.
Many people look at silver and they see the polishing and the necessary things that need to be done for it, and they think, this is too much. I don't want to deal with it. But I find it
In
is like
a
as a
Cliff Notes version, what does it take to polish silver? Like you said,
I will try to be Cliff Notes. So it kind of depends. So you have silver plate and you have silver. Mm-hmm. So silver, when I would say silver, is sterling. There's coin silver. There's a lot of different types, but essentially it is solid silver.
Is yours primarily silverware that you work with, or
so the silver? So technically, silverware can be different types. So the silverware would be.
So to go back to something that sounds dirty, what are you polishing? No, okay. Here we go.
3/4 of what you polish typically is hollowware, and hollowware is typically silver plate.
Okay.
There are some. So if you look at Downton Abbey or something, or at Buckingham Palace, it's actually solid silver. But hollowware is the dishes, the platters, the something. So, and then there's silverware that you have, which is a broad term and could be any different type of silver or something like that. But silverware itself is easy to polish.
Okay.
Hollowware takes amazing amounts of time.
Why is that?
More surface area.
Okay.
So you have platters and such, and you have to be very careful about whether it's silver plate or solid silver.
What type of materials do you use to clean or to polish?
You can use, so the most destructive, acidic, and horrific thing you want to polish your silver is
Brasso.
Oh my God.
I used Brasso when I was in ROTC in college.
My stomach just flipped. Oh my God.
I'm like, I had my little things that I had to put on when I was
Water.
in ROTC. That's it.
Yeah, water. Yeah.
Oh,
Do not. Oh my God. Anything abrasive. Oh, don't use abrasive on your silver. Anything. Any of it. Oh my God. Don't.
No matter how fine the grit, don't.
No grit.
How'd I pour that, Rob? How'd I pour it?
How did he pour the
Oh, it's
drink?
quite good.
Anyways.
As
So-
he's on his second
Although
absinthe
he
cocktail.
made it better.
You haven't even done it. So look. Yeah.
So what's an average time frame for you to polish a hollowware?
So I actually
you take your time.
I actually brought us absinthe spoon, and so today before we started, I polished half of it and left the other half dark. So if you have typically silver, if it's a dish, it's a bowl, it's something, it's probably silver plate, which essentially is a couple like a micron.
Jayden just tried to show me which side was polished and which one wasn't. Like I wouldn't be able to tell.
I just figured it out. I had it in my hand for a good 2 seconds.
You want to be very careful about it because if you use caustic, oh my God, don't use espresso. Don't use, oh my God.
You look like your heart just broke.
I did. It did a little bit. You want to be very careful. So if you have grandma's silver or something like that, typically it's going to be silver plate. You want to be very delicate with it. If it's black.
Yes. I won't be offended by whatever you say. That's all right. Continue on, Paul.
Or brown.
Or
brown. Indian. Or
no. It typically, it means it hasn't been polished in decades.
Okay.
So if it sits out, so essentially nitrogen in the atmosphere breaks down, creates silver oxide. What you want to do is, if you want to clean it quickly, get some Tarnex.
Okay. And he'd look like, please don't do that.
Use it very sparingly. So you want to use it, and what it does is it literally acidifies. I mean, it burns off the silver oxide on the outside of it. So it's going to create a dull butter. It's going to look buttery.
Okay.
And after that, what you do is you use a paste or a liquid polish. And so you put that on and essentially rub it just like you would imagine a lamp. Just rub it. Your towel that you're using is going to turn black.
Okay.
The silver should look like a mirror by the time you're done. If you want to do just day-to-day touch-ups, so that's one of those things where I have you just have a
screen cleaner.
It looks like it. It's essentially
look at that.
it's fabric that's infused with silver cleaner. And so you just rub it.
Okay.
And so that's good if you're using stuff regularly. If you have a set of silver, so on the back, so if you turn it's on silverware, if you turn on the back and it says sterling,
okay,
use it. Use it daily.
Oh,
use
really?
it. they say use your silver. If silver plate has microns of silver layered over a base metal, typically copper. And so if you use it too often, you will actually wear off the silver.
But if it's sterling silver, then
it's solid all the way through. And they say use it all the time.
So the silver that we'll consider as your collection, how do you add to it? Do you go antiquing? Do you find
eBay.
things online? eBay? Okay.
Love.
So in India, there's it depends on what class you're in.
Sure.
Like culturally. But I still have it. We were in middle class, but it's a status symbol. But all the kids, when they're born in a certain class, get a silver cup that they drink out of.
Yes,
and it's obviously status, but it's also said to have healing properties in it. And my mom still has my cup, my
Satya
glass.
Fountain of Youth. Is that what it is?
I don't know what it is.
There is medical.
Yeah.
There is, yes.
And we're supposed to drink out of it at least once a day. Water, whatever we want. My mom has it. I don't have it, but she shows it to me, and I think she actually got one for my.
Is that why you got that cold sore still?
Stop it. Well, but wait, if you're supposed to drink
it's not
from
a
it
cold
once
sore.
a day, if you're supposed to drink from it once a day, why is your mom keeping it? Like she should give
because
it to
I
you.
don't believe in it.
There is okay.
Wait a minute. You're telling me you don't believe that the ingestion of heavy metals is good for you?
There is medical science. I'm like medical science. That actually, so it's called a silver.
It's magic. I don't believe in it.
I don't believe in a lot of things, but I don't disbelieve in it enough
No,
that I'm gonna not do it. If I do a lot of.
She hits me in the head in the morning when it snows on its way.
That's because my grandmother told me things similar to what your grandmother told you, Jaden. I'm
Right.
like, I'm not gonna dispute this. I'm just gonna
Right.
do it.
Oh,
I just do it.
Then at that point, it's just
There is
respect.
antimicrobial power in silver. There, it is proven.
Everybody got quiet, like, "Oh, Paul,
I know.
speak your wisdom."
Okay, I will throw a few things out. There was it was a washing machine that actually uses silver pellets, and it actually dissolves it into the wash. There are antimicrobial cleaning towels, whatever, that have a weave of silver in them. There's called a silver bullet.
Okay.
That for burn victims.
I thought you were going to say werewolves.
I was sure he was going to say
Werewolves
that as well.
also get burned.
Of course, it's
I'm like, or chains to subdue vampires. That's like,
Nicotep, but
yes.
I'm a demon.
sorry, not a werewolf.
Iron works on him.
Yes. Oh dear. Yeah. So
Iron burns.
silver has amazing properties to it. So antimicrobial.
So get that cup from your
Fantastic.
mom.
Silver does nothing for me.
Well, one of the great things too is so if silver gets black, it's not patina, it's ignored.
Okay.
So if you get something, you can go to garage sales and get a lot of silver plate, dip it in Tarnex just to whatever, deal with it. And you can have amazing, amazing things on the table for inexpensive dollars.
So here's what we'll do that will also be amazing. So we need a little bit of there will be a little bit of homework that's involved. So Paul has been kind enough to help us do what we'll do is a Doctor Who Christmas special themed dinner. He looks so excited. So, Mr. Callahan, who is our resident Doctor Who expert, could you do a little bit of research that if we can't get this done with the current season, can you find one of your favorites and we can provide the information to Mr. Pekarik and that will help be the groundwork for the theme. Is
Paul,
that okay?
are you okay with fan reconstructions, or do you need the actual moving pictures? We'll talk.
Yes. Can you guys talk? Can you guys work that? I will work on a venue.
So
that
long
will
as
be
we don't have a
appropriate.
Capaldi season in there,
Okay.
I'm okay.
Is that all right? Can you
He's
two?
not had a good Christmas episode, has he?
Yeah, he hasn't. I agree with you. He
But
hasn't.
did you see his speech to the Zygons a couple of weeks back?
Boring.
Oh my
I'm not a Capaldi fan.
Heart
I'm sorry.
melting.
I am
with that
hot
speech.
and cold with Capaldi. Hot and cold as well. So, do you mind, Rob? So, if you will, we will find the.
Who do you want, Matt Smith?
No, actually, Tennant.
Can you do that? I like his. There's a
thought-
We'll
couple
do the
of
first Christmas special.
With
Which one is the first one?
in the-
Is that
with
the
the
one in London
cigarettes.
with the cigarette? Okay. Is that okay? Which one were you thinking?
Well, the very first Christmas
where she
special was
was
like
in the-
1965.
No. I was
No.
thinking. See, I would have off the top of my head, I would have picked the Titanic expert because I thought that would have been more fun costumes.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry now.
Are you okay with that? Is that
You know,
fine?
I can't get that one out of my head.
Yes. See,
No.
That's because Kylie Minogue was in it.
Well, okay,
What do you
and
think,
Kylie
Paul? Does that
Minogue
work?
was the Green Fairy in Moulin Rouge,
Yes.
and we're having absinthe.
See, it all comes together.
Bring it around.
So where will
can
we have this?
I will work on that. I
Have
will
it at
find
our
this,
place.
yes.
So
You
the-
were okay with that? Okay, if you're okay with
Are
that.
you kidding?
I think that would be
You're
fun.
giving me an opportunity to host a dinner.
His husband's going to be like, you're not allowed to do the house anymore with Nick Hotel.
He is. Oh my God! He's gonna, like again.
We'll help.
But this
We'll
will
help,
be
though.
a podcast, though, right? At the
We'll do the podcast as part of it.
Are we
part
going to
of
do
it,
like drunk commentary on the episode while we're watching it?
I think that's fantastic.
That's fun. Okay, I will, and we'll assist. So
And
tell
we're
your
talking-
husband we'll assist.
And we're talking ball gowns here,
Oh.
and not just for Shannon.
Yeah, we did Green Fairy.
So
I don't have a
Nick,
ball gown, but I
but
have
you have
something with
cravats.
sequins.
Cravats. So men, I think that it'll be good
Yes,
for the cravats.
men should have cravats. Perfect.
And then Nick Hopetep and I will bring out our finest ball
Green
gowns.
Fairy.
I think that
Honey,
works.
that's what I call you.
That was his name in high
On a
school.
Tuesday.
Right? Yeah, on a Tuesday.
I like this, so we'll work this out because we were working that out because we have a number of fun things that are come up in the month of December. We're going to take a little break next week. I'm out of town, and we are also taking a little break for Thanksgiving holiday. So coming up the first week of December, we are going to be joined by our friend Christopher Gropp, and Christopher is the senior manager of experiential entertainment and new marketing at the Mall of America, specifically working with the theaters at the Mall of America. And so he is also one of the people locally who showcases the Star Wars Christmas special. And so he started this a few years ago, and he does a Toys for Tots drive.
Yeah, he and I used to be competitors.
Yeah, well, it's not really competitors because they weren't on the same days. It was just you were both showing it, right?
Right.
So
But
you can see it more than once.
whoever shows it first that year is the one everyone's going to go to see.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't. I
you
didn't
showed
know
it in June. What?
It's like, all right. So now you're not competing anymore, so that's fine. So Christopher does have another. It's an annual event for him, so it is coming up again in
It's the
December.
nicest guy ever, too.
Yes, and he's super sweet, and so he's gonna come down, and his wife is adorable, and his son is great. He's gonna come. We're gonna talk about that.
Disney World right now.
Yes, they are, and so that'll be fun. So he's gonna come and talk about that, and we, of course, are gonna.
What's the drink of the day for that?
I'm gonna think about it. I think that I should find something that clearly has to have some dry ice in it and a bit of like smoke coming out of it.
A
So
dry
I think
Mickey.
Maybe that would work. And so I will think on it before we come back here in 2 weeks.
Something
And
that
so that'll be
celebrates
fun.
Life Day, I think.
It's-
Which
I
just
could-
passed this week, by the way. It was Life Day.
was it Life Day?
Yeah, happy
I
Life
didn't know
Day.
that it actually had an actual
That's a one day.
a day manifestation. Like I know that it is
Wookiee Life Day.
Okay. And so, and real quick, I just want to tell you guys, here in the room know this, but everybody out there listening may not know that I'm on the board for the Pacer Center. And the Pacer Center is a nonprofit organization that works with children and families of all types, but specifically for people who have a variety of different disabilities. They are also the National Bullying Prevention Center. They started the program here, and it was so well received that they were able to expand it nationally. So they have programs that not only schools have used and different organizations can use, but it's also teens can use and students themselves can use. So if you're being bullied, this is a great resource for you to find help. And so as part of a fundraiser for the Pacer Center and specifically towards their anti-bullying efforts, they had been contacted by an organization called OMAZE. And OMAZE is one of those benefit organizations where they find different experiential opportunities for people, and then you can buy into it at a very discounted rate and get a lot of different options to win these great fan experiences. And so Carrie Fisher, who we all know as Princess Leia and everything else, she had the opportunity to pick 15 charities that would benefit from this particular Star Wars The Force Awakens fan experience. And so if you go to omaze.com,
OMAZE.
OMAZE.com. So omaze.com. What Carrie, and I know there's 15 but there's only 15 charities that are involved with this, and the fact that the Pacer Center is one of them is just super awesome. So what it is this a Star Wars The Force Awakens experience. And so you win 4 tickets plus travel for you and 3 of your friends, and each winner gets they get to walk the red carpet. They get to attend the premiere of the Star Wars: The Force Awakens in either London or L.A., and they get free flights, a premiere, and a stay in a 4-star hotel. And so they're going to pick that. And so we are one of the only 15 charities that can
That's
have
awesome.
people join into this. And so the proceeds are split between.
Why would anyone?
So
pick
do
LA?
I
And
get one
so-
because I'm a guest?
I will chip in for you because
Okay.
here's what it is. To enter in,
Yep.
it starts at $10.
Okay.
And you get 100 entries into this for $10. And there's a bunch of other smaller entries too, like you can get different Star Wars: The Force Awakens stuff and things like that. And this is the grand prize for it.
You can
And
get
so
the
they're gonna
action
pick it.
figures.
Yeah, you can. So
The all-male action
Can I
figures.
can I
Everybody
get her
got it.
cinnamon buns
I don't
from her
know.
hair in the
But
original?
I mean, shouts out to Carrie Fisher, not because the fact that she picked the
You can get those on
Pacers,
eBay.
that is super great. So
I want the original.
So how does somebody enter, or how does somebody?
So you go to omaze.com/Star Wars.
Okay.
And we'll put that up on our social media.
Yep.
We'll put all it out there. We'll tweet it all out. So it's only $10 to start, and you have a good chance of winning a lot of things. And
Fantastic.
There's
So is
there's
your
only
geek show
15
going to
charities.
enter?
Yes, I'm because I'm
am.
already donating on top of on
I'm
behalf of all of us.
Are they sponsoring us?
Huh? They are
Because
not.
if they are, I mean, this sounds like a great thing that everyone should get involved in.
So
I really.
So
wholeheartedly
so
believe that.
here is the way that I feel about it is that the Pacer Center is one of my favorite charities, and I'm also on their board, and so I am sponsoring us, and so I am perfectly happy to donate on behalf of all of us because obviously
I'll chip in.
yeah. So I
wanna
think it'll be
chip in.
fun. It's only $10, and it's a great it goes
Because
to
then
And
I would
all
get
of the-
100. You get if you
I get
did
100,
10,
right,
you do.
exactly.
So we have 400 at
And
least.
the Pacer Center, we are a fantastic organization, but honestly, all 15 charities that benefit from this particular fan experience are fantastic charities. So
What a
I
great
don't feel
idea.
guilty at all. I
And
don't feel
Pacer
guilty
has
at
been
all.
amazing.
Yeah.
So we were Pacer puppets.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So what
High
he's talking
school we
about-
did that.
We have a series
Loved
of
it.
puppets and marionettes that
Amazing.
they take out that work with special needs kids. They also have a thing called the Simon Technology Center that does adaptive technology and different things for
Pacer
families
is
here.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
second year of the festival, our social cause was bullying in our school system, and Pacer was our charity that we chose.
And so they've done a lot, and they've had. I actually ended up having a tie-in. As funny as it sounds, with the geek community because of the bullying prevention center that they have, because it shows that we know that a lot of us do have to deal with that, but they also, because of their original charter, which was dealing with children and families that were touched by disabilities, there's a number of studies and lots of data out there that shows that people with disabilities are bullied 2 to 3 times more than neurotypical kids. So I'm a big fan of Pacer. That's why I volunteer my time on their board, and the fact that this was a very particular thing that I thought made sense for us, because I'm like, hey, I like Star Wars so much that I went out and spent money. I needed mascara. I brought this in. I thought you guys would like it. So I needed mascara.
Nico Hotep, put that down.
So I got. So I
It's
bought.
my color.
It's the CoverGirls Star Wars: The Force Awakens supersized mascara. That is the waterproof version. As you will see on the tube, they'd have different messages. You can either get the light side
Seriously,
or the dark
packaging,
side palette.
packaging,
Exactly.
packaging.
So
Wait, is
mine
that the
says-
light side?
Yes, it's the light side because I couldn't. Yeah,
You're my
so I got the
only
light
hope.
side.
3
Yes,
out of 10? Oh my
exactly.
gosh.
Exactly.
It'd be
My
cool.
stars. I love it.
Open it up. Let us see the mascara inside.
if
Well,
she opens
it's
it up, it'd be a
not like-
lightsaber.
I
let's
wish
open
it
it up.
was a lightsaber.
Does it? That would be.
So the force is
love it.
strong with my lashes right now. And I know that people have had this discussion about whether they are over marketing their products. But as a woman who already wears makeup, yes, I am going to buy the Star Wars makeup. It's not enough to make
75% of
me.
their income is going to come from merchandise.
Yes, and I'm not going to go out there and buy makeup just because it has Star Wars on it. But if I have the choice
You're
of buying
gonna
my
do it?
regular or buy this, I'm going to buy the Star Wars version. So
The force is
I'm
strong
all
with you.
fine with it. I'm fine with it. And real quick, before we wrap up, and Paul,
Her
I
midi
know that-
chlorians are off the scale.
Thank you very much. And my lashes are long and very
Luscious.
long. Luscious. Real quick, so for everybody who's been paying attention to us and our fantasy football challenge that we have with 3 guys talking, there has
Sad,
been some
sad
movements.
day.
Yes, some sad movements since
Yay,
last
sports
week.
ball.
So, Paul, to bring you up to speed quickly, what happens
Wait,
is that
do we have someone on the podcast who doesn't like sports ball?
Sports ball. Yay.
It's fine that you're not a fan, and Paul, I will be honest with you. This was really something that I thought would be great. I like football, and Jayton, he doesn't hate football, so he was on board.
Bravo.
Nikahotep,
I like all sports.
yeah, Nikahotep got on board because he found a reason to motivate himself. So
He's an athletic supporter.
Athletic Cup supporter.
So I picked my fantasy football team by how they would look naked.
And as dumb as that strategy sounds, it has worked out well for him.
He's at the top of the league.
He is at the top of the league, and he has been invested this entire season. He's like so invested that he's texting me all the time. Hey, I know you're at work right now, but maybe you should look at your tight end. I think you need to swap out players.
Not your tight end, but your tight end.
Paul's laughing because Paul's known Nick Hotep so long that he knows he normally doesn't care.
It's
So, so and Rob Callahan basically had babysit his team and forced him to listen to me to explain his updates. So I'm just like, well, no, wait, you've had important changes. But
she tried explaining this to me in Star Trek terms one time, and I was like, stop it, you're ruining Star Trek.
So up until last week, because what the challenge is it is a challenge from our podcast versus a rival podcast called Three Guys Talking.
Which is four guys.
It's 4 guys. And so it's 3 guys. And basically, if you line the 4 people over there, they do end up being like the doppelganger, reverso, bizarro version of our podcast.
Oh, my
they've
stars.
got their own Shannon, their
So-
own Nikahotep, their own Jayden.
It's
their
so
own
funny.
really, really cool suave guy.
So it turns out.
Which is, yes, there you go.
I don't know who that's
So
supposed to be.
my versions, their host, Jake Stubby Beaver, who's adorable, kind of stuff.
He's
But
the Shannon, right?
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
His name is Stubby Beaver.
Stubby J. So his name is Jake Beaver, but so he's got a goofy nickname like me because I'm Miss Shannon and he's Jake Beaver. So
Stubby Beaver.
Stubby J is his nickname and he's adorable though.
I want to just go with Stubby Beaver.
Okay. He's gonna like, thanks a lot, Shannon. I'm surprised I'm not getting text messages now going, it's Stubby J. So,
Check your Twitter.
Oh god, so Stubby J.
Is that code?
See why fantasy football is fun now, Paul? Now this is how you care. So
football.
I like how
Absolutely.
Nick Hotep is doing it. I'm like, okay, all right.
it's all about whatever.
I'm like Tom
motivates
Brady.
You.
Mm,
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
all
It's all
right.
about who motivates you.
Okay,
So-
who's the one for the next door in Wisconsin?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers. He's my quarterback too.
Oh,
So see, he's doing very well.
He my
He's
boy.
dating
I-
Olivia Munn.
Yes.
Who will be Psylocke. Well played. So Stubby J, their host, is the Miss Shannon. And it's actually, that's the only part that's like super, super different is that I've been doing relatively well and I love Stubby. Not doing well. His team sucks. Okay. And so Jayden, they have another guy. They have a guy there that is Mike Shoes. Adorably mustached, very reasonable fellow, just the voice of reason on the show. That's their Jayden.
So Jayden's, that's your doppelganger?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. And then they have a guy who's in a band, very cool, very hip cat. This guy named Jason Douglas. That's Rob Callahan over there with the
Told
sexy
you.
voice.
Suave.
I
And-
love it.
And then we get to their 4th member, their Ginger, Andy. So there's Angie. I'm gonna call him Angie from now on. So
Was that before or after? Sorry.
so their Ginger, their soulless one, our Nikahotep.
He's threatening my throne. He's spooning my throne, and he's about to penetrate.
Is he
know what
polishing your spoon?
Spooning leads to
Yeah, I know. Forking.
forking. Sorry. Yeah.
And so after last week, not only Nikahotep is still holding on to first place, but their Ginger has caught up to the point that he is now in second place.
10 points behind.
And we were ahead until
got his
last
arm
week.
around you.
Yes. And he's talking a lot of smack about it. So after last week, the point total is like this. 3 Guys Talking has 5,514 points. Your Geek Show has 5,488 points, so they managed to take the lead by
Cut the
26
music, I'm
points.
sad.
For the first time all
For
season.
the first time since week 1, they have now taken the lead, and so we
It's
are
not
a
how
little
you
concerned.
are in the middle. It's how you finish, right?
Right,
Something like that.
so
Like
we
something-
gotta-
They were hustling us this whole time.
No, it was
No,
really some
it's-
wonky stuff happened. Like, in fact, one of our players that had been doing the best. So we have a couple of members that aren't in the room right now. Our friend Moose, who worked. I used to play football with her on the Minnesota Vixen. She is fantastic. But last week, Peyton Manning, who we talked about recently, really, really did a horrible job. He actually lost her points because that can happen. He did so poorly that she is now in the hole. So Stubby J even hit me up, and he's all
I
like,
had to
hey.
bench my quarterback. I had to bench Matt Ryan. I'm like, David Carr is my backup, and then he's actually doing better.
And so we have to bench her quarterback. All this stuff has to happen. So we will have another update on that next week. And so I know that is your
it's neck and neck, which is exciting.
Yes, because before we were so far ahead, we're like whatever, coast, and then there was injuries and drama.
That's why I was
and
coasting
drugs,
this whole
kind of thing.
time.
And now it's turned out that we really have to be serious and make some good decisions in order to take the lead back. So we'll be fine. So that is what we have to do in the meantime. So we have homework assignments. We have to make sure that we get ready for this dinner party next month that we will go and have at Mr. Pacaric's house.
When would you like to have that happen?
We're out of town end of the month, but before that.
Okay, so we're
So we got like 3 more weeks.
Yes, so we're in the
Make
mid.
it happen.
Okay, so
we'll have the table set up from Thanksgiving.
You're gonna
This
start
is gonna be
tonight,
so
aren't you?
Fun.
Stop.
I'm very excited.
Don't get into my head. I'm already picking spoons for you.
Okay, all right. And I will find a gown. Nika Hotep and I will go shopping. That'll be fine. And Jayden, you can go over to Rob Callahan's house and find a cravat.
I don't own a cravat.
Do not use the orange spoon on the grapefruit.
Ah.
There are different
Not
spoons.
the color orange, the type orange.
Oh, I presumed there was an orange spoon. I thought I only know from like toddler settings. Got a thing like Jaden's like, I got an orange spoon at home.
Totally
I'm a kid eat out of it.
My feelings on it are is if you suddenly realize you're using the wrong spoon, just own it. just finish it up.
If you use your
people won't
grapefruit
question.
spoon to eat gumbo, I will look at you side-eyed.
Well,
I want to know what the
side
gumbo
glance.
spoon
We'll need a
looks like.
lesson before we get going, though.
Okay, we'll work that out.
We'll
We'll
do
have
that.
So-
we'll check in. Rob's like, I got you.
I'm having my pudding before I eat my meat. That's
Again,
That
not
was
a
the
euphemism.
filthiest thing that we've said all episode, but that's fine. We won't have
It
to
really
repeat
isn't.
this kind of thing. Oh, so thanks again to our partners out there. Thanks again to Custom T-Shirt Central, Chris McDuffie Photography. Thanks as always to the Twin Cities Film Festival. You guys have one of your monthly events that's coming up in December,
Yeah,
right?
December 2nd, Wednesday, we're doing an encore screening of a film that actually won an award at our festival for breakthrough performance for an actress, Rosa Salazar. She's been in the new Maze Runner movies, just amazing, up and
she's
coming.
great.
She's awesome. And so she did an amazing job with Adam Paley, who's been in The Mindy Project and a couple other films. The film is called Night Owls. It'll be at the Icon Theaters. It's like $10 to get in. But
Nice. So we'll make sure we put all that information along with some potential etiquette lessons and then all the information about how
the
you
proper
can
way
register.
to eat your popcorn with a spoon.
Exactly.
Is there a
And-
popcorn spoon?
Sure.
There is
If
not.
there's 26, how
But
can
I'll
not
tell you how to eat a banana with a spoon.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yes. Do.
Yes, we will do the updates.
That's
And
the dirtiest thing you've said all day.
Do.
No, it is not. All right, and we will also give the information on how you can register for that fantastic Star Wars experiential opportunity at omaze.com. And we will see you guys very soon. In the meantime, on behalf of myself, Miss Shannon, Nika Hotep over here in the corner, Jayden Satia, our guest geek of the week, Paul Fakaric, and Rob Callahan, we will see you
my.
again soon.